Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Fire Burns Within channel once again. Time for another video, this time talking about the mighty Savatage. I love this band. Well, I say I love some periods of the band. There's certain albums which I don't really like for various reasons, but I've still got to do this video of talking about one underrated song per album, even the ones that I don't like, and also a few honourable mentions as well for their discography. Okay, let's go right to the beginning. Well, actually, let's see how many albums they've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 albums. 11 studio albums, I should say. Yeah, so let's go right to the beginning. Sirens. It's a very good start for the band. The song I've picked out here is Holocaust. I think that's a really good song. It's a real heavy pounder. It's not like a totally underrated song, but I think in the grand scheme of things, it's an underrated, real heavy Savatage tune. The other two songs I want to mention are Sirens, the title track, which is quite a well-known song as far as Savatage goes, that is, and Living for the Night, which is also a pretty cool song. But Holocaust is the one that takes the honours there for being number one underrated. Okay, moving on to the next album, Power of the Night. It's a very good follow-up to Sirens. It's a little bit more polished again. It's got a slightly better sound, a little bit heavier. It's just a slightly upgraded version of what you heard on the debut Sirens. The song I've picked out here is a song called Necrophilia, which is, the lyrics in early Savatage are a bit, you know, they're a bit cliched maybe, if you like, very 80s or very cheesy if you like, but Necrophilia is a great song. I mean, musically it's just a great song, very powerful, much faster. It's just got a lot of power in it. It's like a power metal song almost, if you like, but with sort of classic metal feel. The other two songs I want to mention are Power of the Night, which is like the big hit. It's the title track of the album, so you wouldn't say it was underrated, but it is an awesome song. And the song Warriors is really awesome as well. But there's quite a few good songs on Power of the Night. It's a really good follow-up. But Necrophilia is the one in particular that stood out for me. The next album is Fight for the Rock. And this is where they take a misstep. Let me turn this down a touch. They take a misstep. They try to go for a very commercial sound, and it didn't work at all. It's just not really an exciting album. It's overall a very disappointing album. The production is also not as good as Power of the Night. The song I've picked out here is a song called Hyde, as in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Very good song, Hyde. It stands out in amongst that crowd of songs. It's just got the right classic heavy metal style, so it's a pretty good song. The other song I've picked out is Fight for the Rock, which is like again, it's the title track, so you wouldn't say it's underrated as such, but it is quite a good song. The rest of the album is a bit of a struggle, to be honest. I mean, it's just quite commercial, and it's also not very good either. I mean, I don't mind commercial. I like commercial rock, but it's just not very exciting commercial rock. And then we come to Hall of the Mountain King. All is forgiven. You've only gone and released your best ever album. and it's the fourth one in your list. Obviously, it's just an amazing album, top to bottom. It's not got any filler in sight. It's just awesome song after awesome song. The song I've picked out as being really catchy and really worthy of mention is the song Devastation. It's right at the end of the album. It's really a really catchy song. It's got great riffs, very heavy mid-tempo chugging riffs, still very melodic as well, which is really good. So Devastation is the one I'm picking there. Obviously there are some big hits on the album. The title track everyone loves. What else? Strange Wings, that's an awesome song. I could have picked that. Beyond the Doors of the Dark, another awesome song. Every song on the Hall of the Mountain King is just awesome. I mean, for me, that's like almost a 10 out of 10 album. I would say it's easily the best Savatage album of all. I think most people would agree with that. Okay, one or two of the other albums might have more fans, but for me, Hall of the Mountain King is awesome. The next album is Gutter Ballet. It's a very good follow-up to Hall of the Mountain King. It's a little bit more polished. The production is a bit nicer. It's again pretty melodic. The track I've picked here is again the final track, I think. Is it the final? Well, it's towards the end anyway. It's a track called Thorazine Shuffle. It's a really heavy, groovy, melodic song. I mean, I really like this song. It's I think it's a little bit underrated for me. It's a really cool heavy tune. Very melodic still, but very catchy. Three other songs to mention from Gutter Ballet. Hounds is a very good song. Gutter Ballet itself, obviously it's another classic. It's not underrated by any means. And the opener of Rage and War is very heavy and melodic as well. Great bass as well. Great production on Gutter Ballet. Very crisp, heavy and clean. Very cool. The next album is Streets, a rock opera. This was actually the very first introduction for me to Savatage. I remember buying this in a shop because I'd heard a little bit about Savatage but never listened to it, never listened to them. So I just went into some CD shop in London, ages ago. It was in the mid-90s, I think, or just after this came out, I think. I don't know. 96, 97. I'm not sure when Streets came out, but I bought this and I thought, wow, this is a bit different. This is very theatrical. The song I've picked here as being a very catchy and underrated song is Jesus Saves. I think it's quite well loved, but to me it's still underrated. It's very heavy, very melodic. I mean, at that time I hadn't heard Hall of the Mountain King, so I didn't know that this was more in line with something that would be on Hall of the Mountain King, which is more straight ahead heavy metal rather than the very theatrical, very piano based, very slightly progressive Streets rock opera. But Jesus Save is awesome. There's a few other awesome songs on there. Ghost in the Ruins, that's a really sort of like moody, dreamy song, quite a morose song. If I Go Away is a very nice ballad. There's a couple of very nice ballads on the album actually. So Streets is a very cool album. It's a little bit different in that it's very, because it's a concept and it's a theme and it's a story of I think he's a guy who's down on his luck, etc. And then he gets redemption and all sorts of things like that. It's a typical tale. So there you have it, Streets rock opera. Next album is Edge of Thorns. This was the first album with Zach Stevens. John Oliver, I think he mainly left the vocals completely, if I'm not wrong. I think he might do the odd vocal from now on the odd song, but he didn't come back fully until I think Poets and Madmen, if I'm not wrong. Or he might have just had the odd song before. I can't remember exactly. But anyway, Edge of Thorns. The song I picked here is Scraggy's Tomb. It's a really heavy song. It's like got this thumping great riff. The chorus is not actually really that catchy. Sort of just repeats the line Scraggy's Tomb. But it's just the feel of the song is pretty cool. It's really heavy, really groovy, great guitar, great solos. The other two songs to mention are Conversation Piece and Damien. Both of those songs are quite similar to Scraggy's Tomb. Very heavy, still pretty melodic, very catchy stuff. Edge of Thorns is a good album. I mean, compared to, say, Hall of the Mountain King, it's not going to be my favourite by a long way, or even Gutter Ballet. But I think compared to Streets or, say, Handful of Rain, the one that follow, Edge of Thorns is, I think slightly better, if anything. Anyway, moving on to that album, Handful of Rain. I think this was the second one with Zach. Pretty sure Alex Skolnick from Testament played on this as well. Oh, yeah, he did. The song I've picked out here is called Symmetry. It's quite a heavy song. I think it's a pretty unknown song. It really stood out to me this time as being a really cool heavy tune. Great riffs, great solos. I mean, everyone knows Alex is a brilliant guitarist from Testament, so he fitted in pretty well in Testament, made it a much heavier sounding band. The other song to mention is Taunting Cobras, which is like the opener, but it's quite a well-known song in Savatage's discography. The album was okay, Handful of Rain, for me. It's not really fully one of my favourites. It's just an okay, heavy album with some decent riffs, melodies. Then we reached the end period of Savatage, where, to be honest, the last three albums are not really my cup of tea. Firstly, we've got Dead Winter Dead. It's a progressive metal tale. It's like theatrical progressive metal. I mean, it's stuff that Savatage does very well. I mean, I can't say they do it badly. It's just I just prefer the more straight ahead. It requires too much listening time to get much enjoyment out of it. But anyway, the song I picked out is Doesn't Matter Anyway. It's quite a fun little sort of like almost a thrashy song. Well, not thrashy, but it's quite a fast-paced song, which is rare for Savatage to have a faster song. And I'm pretty sure John Oliver sings that one. The other song I picked out was Starlight, which was an okay song. The rest of Dead Winter Dead doesn't really do a lot for me. The next album is The Wake of Magellan. Again, it's quite a dark. It's pretty heavy. I mean, everything sounds good, but there's not much there for the listener melody-wise. The song I picked out here is Blackjack Guillotine. Yeah, it's a pretty good song. I mean, in amongst a bunch where nothing really grabs me. I thought Blackjack Guillotine was fairly good. The other song I want to mention is Turns to Me. Turns to Me is another okay song. It's a typical latter-day Savatage song. I mean, it doesn't have a huge melody in the vocal or the chorus that can pull you in, but it's a pleasant listen while you're listening. And finally, we move on to the last Savatage album, Poets and Madmen. I think this was much better than The Wake of Magellan, even much better than Dead Winter Dead. But again, it's not an amazing album. It's just a okay, concept-themed latter-day Savatage album, which in the end turned out to be the last one. The song I picked out here is Surrender. I thought that was a pretty decent listen, pretty good song. And the other song to mention is Commissar, which has got a fairly catchy line, you know, where John Oliver's singing that one. Pretty catchy, not amazingly catchy, but a cool vibe anyway. So Surrender from that as the main underrated song. Okay, that was the Savatage underrated songs. Holocaust, Necrophilia, Hide, Devastation, awesome song. Thorazine Shuffle, Jesus Saves, Scraggy's Tune, Symmetry, Doesn't Matter Anyway, Blackjack Guillotine, and Surrender. Okay, that was the Savatage video. Stay metal.